Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Hi, I'm Nina Bosky, and welcome to the LifeBites radio show, where entertainment meets life. Well, today on LifeBites, life, the adventure. Oh, boy. You know, I love this title because so many of us, you know, when we're younger, we can certainly enjoy life and live in the moment. And as we start to grow older and the weight of the world starts to live on our shoulders, it becomes more and more difficult to be able to live life like an adventure. So, you know, Jay, I know I was throwing you on. Jay's my producer, and I always ask him these kind of questions. But, you know, it's really interesting because day-to-day life, sometimes you can get into the grind and not live life as an adventure. How do you work with that? Because you seem like an adventuresome type.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It's maybe a bit of a mindset, and sometimes I think with adventures and voyages, you want to have a bit of a plan, but you want to leave a lot of space open. I think I stumbled on a saying a couple years ago, and it's called a Saturday kind of day or a Saturday kind of mindset, where you wake up on a Saturday. As a kid, I used to love the kid.
The cartoons.
70s, exactly. Wake up, no school, so your biological clock says, let's get up. You got some cartoons. And then after some cartoons, you have a lot of free time in the morning. You're not sure what to do. You kind of have plans. Got 2 days of magical adventure ahead, and you sort of let it happen. Then you get your chores done, your homework. Take your bath for the week.
For the week. That's a typical boy.
Yeah. So, but just that whole mindset. And sometimes, when people have days off or have, times they're so booked ahead that you sometimes it gets to be like, oh man, even hanging out and doing something maybe gets to be too scheduled, even to have coffee with a friend or meet somebody or go see a friend's band. And things you like to do, but then you're like, no, I just want to do nothing for now and just let my mind wander and let life be an adventure for a while. So I think we should all put some part of that in our day planner to plan a little open space to just let life happen or assimilate what we've been through and sort of breathe a little bit.
Well, I think you are bringing up such an excellent point because we live in a time, especially in the cities of life, where you are bombarded with images, with people, with phones, with computers, with everything, people talking like you and I, right? And it becomes very difficult to listen to your own voice. And even though we'll be talking about adventure, like go take an adventure, right?
Right.
But a lot of the adventure, like you said, is the mindset. It really does come from the inside out, not from the outside in.
Exactly. I believe that. Even just a day like going to have lunch and explore the city can be an adventure. That could be your plan.
Yes.
But where you eat, what you have, what you explore, what you buy, and what shop you end up exploring is open to the roll of the dice. Parking, adventure, feelings, vibes, where you want to go, the flow.
Well, it's interesting.
Like
you talk about adventure. This last week we were in Mexico. Happy anniversary to Eric and I. We're 1 year today.
That's
so
nice.
to my love, he and I went on an adventure to Mexico. And interesting enough, beautiful location, but logistically a really big challenge.
Yeah.
And
you didn't run into the banditos or anything like a Tarantino movie, because that would be an adventure.
That was an adventure. That would have been an adventure. Actually, I might have signed up for that adventure more than the other adventure. The adventure was more logistics,
Tarantino style.
But in every moment, we could hold on to the frustration, or we could let go and find the moments that we could have, and that is part of it. It's the mindset and creating that adventure with the people with yourself, with the people around you. And when I think about this, today's lineup, Jay, I mean, these two guests that I have, one of them is Gesine Thomson, who's a renowned architect and pioneer in building communities throughout the world. I mean, amazing woman, because she, specializes in large-scale community planning and sustainable commercial growth. But the beauty of this woman isn't just what she does. It's who she is and everything that she brings to the table. It's not, I'm going to go do this, and that's going to make me an adventuresome woman. She embodies that from the inside out as a human being. Same thing with Guru Singh. He's going to be talking about his new book. He's a celebrated third-generation yogi master, spiritual teacher, musician, and author of Buried Treasures, The Journey from Where You Are to Who You Are. And I do know a little bit about him. He's one of my mentors in life, and an extraordinary man, because when you see him and you know him, you think your impression could be that he is this, at least this was mine, a wise man that lives on a hill, that meditates 24/7.
Yeah.
And yet, and you'll really appreciate this, Jay, he's a musician back in the 1960s. That's where he started.
Nice.
Back in the
good old days.
Good old days. For those of you that are listening, you can't really see the cover of the book, but I'm turning it around for Jay to take a look at. That about says it all, with the van and everything back, Kate Ashbury. Yeah. So he's going to be telling about his new book, and both of these people live their life in an adventure. And I think that's really important for you to look at your own life and ask yourself, what is it that I need to create more adventure in my life? And I'm not necessarily talking about the big trip, but if you need to take the big trip, go ahead and take the big trip.
That could be it too.
Well, because sometimes I think if you go outside your surroundings and everyday physical environment,
I agree,
that can help at least ignite that adventuresome spirit. So I definitely think that's important. I think the other thing is to challenge yourself.
Yeah. Within reasonable bounds.
Don't
do something like you're going to skydive if you're super scared to do that. Unless you want to face a fear, maybe that could be a thing too.
I think for some people that's something that they would want to do. For me, never. For my challenge, I don't know if I'd ever think about that. But it might be the challenge in challenging yourself. Whatever you're doing, ask yourself, how can I do this differently? The other thing is because, sometimes the mundane, and brushing your teeth, it doesn't have to be so extraordinary. It can be the little things that you do differently that make it a little bit more fun. Like you said, I had a friend that got on a bus here in Los Angeles. I've never been on a bus here in Los Angeles, but just went and just rode the bus all day long and just experienced Los Angeles from a completely different, different place. So the other thing you want to do is expand your comfort zone. Summon the courage to step out of your comfort zone. It could feel exciting, getting your heart pumping faster, etc. And Gesine is going to talk about that a little bit more too. And I think that's important, in terms of stepping out and being able to try something new. The other thing that I would say that I think it's really important is make your adventure a priority. Make it a priority. And one adventure I did this year, and I think it's important too, a lot of times people go, I don't know what to do, my life feels so mundane, or I don't have any passion, etc. I did a project at the beginning of this year, and a lot of you heard about it. It's called downtown at the Los Angeles Mission, helping women get back on their feet in terms of transitioning from, where they are at the LA Mission for a 2-year program back into life. And, volunteering my time like that, it was such an adventure, because what I thought the experience was going to look like before I started and what I ended up with was so much more enriching and connecting, and really it was a soulful adventure. So, I think those are some tips that can help you if you are looking at your life and going, gosh, what can I do differently? What can I do to inspire my life? The one thing I want to say to you, it's really important, because I work with people every single day. I do it myself, okay? It's really easy to do. We wait for life. We wait for life. We wait for life. And the problem with waiting for life is life will happen, and you'll be just sitting there waiting. If you want something different, you're going to have to do something different. On that note, let me introduce my first guest, a lovely, extraordinary woman and human being. Gesine Thomson is an internationally recognized architect and speaker specializing in large-scale community planning and sustainable commercial growth. She's worked on projects in the United States, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, South Korea, China, Japan, India, all over the world. She's in Germany right now, calling us from Germany, and I would like to introduce Gesine Thomson. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nina.
Hi.
Good evening in Berlin here.
Well, it's so wonderful to talk to you, and it's actually, I think, pretty apropos that you and I are talking, and you are, halfway around the world. Talk to me a little bit about, because obviously we're in the middle of World Cup, and you're there in Germany. How was it for the Germans winning several days ago against Brazil? I'm sure that was an extraordinary energy in Berlin.
Well, I arrived from Norway with a delayed flight, and so I missed everything practically, and had the adventure to come into a city that was glued to the television set, and there were no taxis on an airport, no buses, nothing. You were just sitting waiting until the game was over, and then life started again. The city was breathless and then overjoyed. And now it's very exciting because all the tourists and visitors and the Germans are in anticipation together. So it's quite exciting to be here at this very moment. I will miss the game again because I will be on a flight to Paris at the time, and so I will just get the results. But that's life. I need to keep moving with the projects and the matters, and you never know when something is coming up that you would like to see. You need to then just keep going with the program, and that's what I do. But I enjoy the enthusiasm that's around the world about the World Cup.
Well, I would say that you're a person that probably has quite a few frequent flyer miles. So let's get right into it, because today's theme is life, the adventure. And when I first met you, I knew a little bit about you, and then as you started to speak about life, and you're one of those people that as you experience you get more and more inspired. And it's interesting because you can say, oh, you're an architect, but you're so much more than that. How, and you bring people together, and you almost tell a story. How did this come about that you not only became an architect, but grew into something a lot, I think, more richer and deeper?
Nina, I think I was lucky without knowing as a child that I was lucky, because I grew up in nature, and that in two different continents. My brother and I were growing up in Europe and in Africa, so we had the experiences of both cultures, but also the natural experience. And I was very much, and him, we were left, in the forest or in the bush. So we learned to trust our instincts because it mattered, simply because it was a life issue. And of course we had our dogs with us, but we learned truly from Mother Nature. So I think Mother Nature was my nanny and teacher to understand, to trust observation that I made, and then made a decision if that was a good choice or not a good choice. And that taught me to be part of a whole organic structure, and from early on. So it helped me when I started to grow into architecture that I saw these connections that are in all around us, in everything, and as well in the social structure, and of course that I try to integrate at all times into my designs, be it structurally or as storytelling or economically fruitful. So, I think it is observation, instincts, and then making bold decisions by being daring.
So let me ask you.
Through with hard work.
Gesine, let me ask you. Let me ask you something here, because I think it's for people that might not know architecture, right? And I don't know a lot about it, but one thing I do know about how you create, and you just said it, is that I could imagine there's a lot of architects as well in the world. We create from the outside in instead of the inside out. And I would say, based on what you're saying, is that's what you do. And I know you said, you trust your instincts, you're creative, you had influences as a child. But when you go into communities, how do you do that from the inside out? What do you do?
Well, it depends. I have a very good team also. Please, I'm not a single person to do this. I try to find the best possible team that walks with me into each of the new adventure. What we always believe, every project is an adventure because it really truly is. Functionality is everything. Look, it is the same if you cook, or if you are planting a garden, or if you are structuring, your day. It must work properly. So functionality is the base, and if you cannot start from the outside, you must start from the inside. Let's go back to creation. If babies are created from one single cell, it's all coming from one center inside, and 9 months later, wonderfully, there is a complete functional body and human being. That is architecture as well. It is the understanding of the ingredients and then let it grow into what it needs to do. The body is created into what it needs to do so that we are functional, that we can heal ourselves, that we are emotional, that we're physically fit, etc. And that happens with projects as well. It starts with a single inside cell, and then it grows into what it needs to be. Many architects don't do that. They do exactly the opposite. In order to do what I do, I need to meet the culture because I work in so many different countries. So learn about the traditions and engage truthfully with the people, and then understand what the future demands of their social structure, and then design accordingly for 30 to 50 years ahead. So that's really what we are doing. And
so
I don't know if it explains.
No, it does. It does, Gesine. And this is why I wanted to, for those of you that are listening, you may not be an architect, but you're an architect of your own life. And so when we are trying to go from the outside in, when we're trying to look if I get this job, if I'm with this person, if I make so much money, that's going to be my answer. As Gesine said, it starts from a single cell. Now, Gesine, we're going to talk about your TED Talk because you did a wonderful TED Talk about ironically and yet very connected, motherhood, and how that was the biggest kind of adventure of your life. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the themes of your TED Talk so people can really get connected to their own lives and some of the, I would say, the little tidbits and treasures of that TED Talk. We'll be back in just a moment. My guest is Gesine Thomson, and you're listening to LifeBites Radio.
See straight and save. These days, everyone seems to see things differently. But from your eyes, you can see straight and save. Right now, get glasses online at 70% off at Glasses USA. There's a 100% guarantee, too, on top brand men, women, multifocal, and even prescription sunglasses. Visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Glasses USA, and you will see straight and save.
We're HealthyLife.net, reaching and helping a worldwide audience without hype, without shock, and without shenanigans.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to LifeBites Radio. My guest is Gesine Thomson, internationally recognized architect and speaker. She recently did a TED Talk, and you can go to YouTube and put in Gesine Thomson. I'm going to spell her name for you so you know, because how it sounds, how I'm saying it, may not how you're going to spell it. It's Gesine, and her last name is Thomson without a P. It's Thomson, Gesine Thomson, and her TED Talk on motherhood. However, there's a lot more. It's not just about motherhood. It's about the content of what it really means to be a mother. But before we get to that, one of the things that I heard Gesine say to me is that, and she says it in her TED Talk as well, is that she does one thing that she hasn't done the day before, and that takes her out of her comfort zone. Gesine, why did you decide to do that in your life, and what's the benefit?
Well, I decided to do that simply because I watched children grow exponentially, and I wanted very much to integrate that in my life, because I can't understand that we aren't staying curious. I wanted to stay curious, and I wanted to think childlike all the time, because I really want my life to be magic by choice. And I wanted from early on that my life mattered. So in order to do that, I felt that I needed to have substantial knowledge. And so obviously when you are in the midst of life and you have the task of being a mother, and you work and you just go through the school of life, I wanted it to be doable. So I thought one thing a day, single thing that I have never done before, might give me an insight into something and teaches me something that I might need 3 years from now, 10 years, or not at all. It is just for pure joy. And it is sometimes as simple as the day is ending and I haven't done something yet that I have not done before. And then I do the most obvious thing. I am talking to a stranger, and I ask permission, and then I ask about their life and their understanding. And often I choose people that you wouldn't normally choose as a primary choice, somebody who, sleeps under the bridges or something. And I also ask them if I may touch them, because I have seen that we disregard people that don't have anybody, and that I feel it's so important to connect, because everything in our life is about connectiveness. It is in architectural structure, as we talked before, as well as in family, friendship, in social structures around the country. And now, look, the connectiveness in a World Cup. It is breathtaking how the world comes together. Even that there are different nations rooting for a team, but overall, it is the idea to come together in an event that's joyful and fun. So therefore, we need to understand that we have to make choices to bring that fun into our life. And we can do that sometimes, as you said, I have lots of frequent miles because I travel from project to project and from lecture to lecture. But I put the fun in by just listening to great, the music of the moment and jump out in my, wherever I am, the kitchen of my friends or in a hotel room and start dancing because I make the choices that there's magic and I cannot expect it to come from the outside. I must take the initiative, and I'm willing to do that.
Well, one of the things I think that's interesting when you say about taking the initiative, you could tell just by the passion in your voice of how you approach life. And in your TED Talk, you say that if somebody were to ask me what I do, I would say occupational mother. So motherhood has taught you a lot. Obviously, there's, the embracing the unexpected, listen, patience. But it's interesting because even in your architectural work, you're talking about, touching the homeless person. You're touching and connecting and talking. That's in some ways, in most ways, mothering the earth as well.
Yes. And I feel very, very honored by the fact I am doing research in Arizona at the moment, and I really do that. I try to mother everything around me, but in a listening way, in an understanding way, in an empowering way. And I was very delighted when I was recently told by the senator that I'm called Mother Arizona. Mm-hmm. I just, it's very wonderful to feel that. But with that comes, of course, also the obligation to fulfill what mother means. It is a wonderful, wonderful, honorable thing to be allowed to be a mother, and having the possibility to create a family life and learning what it teaches you. And that was something I made by choice. I was already a very accomplished architect with a large group of projects and a team. But I made the choice to be a mother because I wanted to experience the full arc that life gives us as a female. And I thought I trusted again that I could somehow handle that. I would grow into it, whatever it meant to be. It was that exploration, that adventure. And I want my life to be an adventure. And I take the risks that come with it. But also the immense rewards. Let me just say that in a very simple term. If somebody has to make a meal, and we all are when we cook for our friends, with two choices. We either take a book from a famous chef of the moment, and we go shopping, and we spend money, we get all the ingredients, and we go buy the book. or we do something very different, and that's my choice. I open the refrigerator, and if there's no refrigerator because, I don't know, there's a garden, then I look what is in the garden at the time, or what are the leftovers or something, and I put a meal together of what is there. And because, you know what, we all have the creativity, because I believe as human beings we have all been created as free, original thinkers. And I want to be an original thinker.
Well,
I don't want to cook a meal that is by the gram. I want to do the refrigerator and see what comes out of it.
Well,
that's the adventure of that meal.
Gesine Thomson, you are a creative thinker. You are not just a woman, but a human being that embodies adventure, and not just what you do, but who you are. And I'm going to also promote the TED Talk again, and let me make sure I spell your name right. I was looking at it, but I was not saying exactly. It's Gesine, so I got that right, but the Thomson, Thomson. I forgot the H at the very beginning. So Thomson without the P, but an H, okay? Thomson. Go to YouTube, the TED Talk. She has so many life lessons about embracing the unexpected, finding the joy, finding the passion, but embodying it in everything you do. And remember, it's not from the outside in, it's from the inside out. And what she said, stay curious and be that childlike adventurer. So thank you so much, Gesine, for being on the show today.
Thank you, Nina.
All right.
All the best to you.
All right. And safe travels. Lots of love. And we are coming back with my next guest, Guru Singh, and his new book, Buried Treasures, A Journey from Where You Are to Who You Are.
When you need quality auto parts, Auto Part Warehouse is fast and easy. Always get the part that fits. Just enter your vehicle type specific to your car. Auto body parts, mirrors, brakes, suspension, steering, engines, and drivetrain. Need something yet? What about exterior or interior accessories or headlights? Auto Parts Warehouse has them. Top brands, great prices. Visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Auto Parts Warehouse.
If you're in Southern California, you might want to consider HealthyLife.net radio for advertising. We have 18 hosts that have shows with loyal listeners just in Southern California. That means you get local advertising and the world for the same affordable price. With packages for every budget, you can't afford not to let that economic sunshine in for your business. Call now, 1-800-555-5453. That's 1-800-555-5453.
To be a good father is the most important job in a man's life. But it doesn't have to be hard. Play catch. Go to a park or visit a zoo. Help your child with their homework. Sit down together for dinner. Ask them how their day was. Things get busy, and sometimes we all fall short. But the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
For more than 20 years, Homeboy Industries has made a difference in the lives of former gang members and at-risk youth in Los Angeles. Their free programs and services have given hope and opportunity to thousands and their signature businesses: Homeboy Bakery, Homegirl Cafe and Catering, Homeboy Silkscreen and Embroidery, and Homeboy Merchandise. Offers hands-on training in a safe work environment. Donate to Homeboy today and help them continue their important work. To find out more, call 323-526-1254 or visit online at www.homeboy-industries.org.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to LifeBites Radio. I'm Nina Bosky. We are talking about life, the adventure. And before we get into my next guest, Guru Singh, and his latest book, Buried Treasures, The Journey from Where You Are to Who You Are, I'd like to do a shout-out to one of my favorite directors, a really good guy. His name is Luke Greenfield. He has a new movie coming out next month, and let's see if we can get him on the show. It's called Let's Be Cops, but he also, he's done movies from The Animal to The Girl Next Door, Something Borrowed, and now his latest, he's got some really wonderful movies in the making, and a wonderful guy. And the new movie, Let's Be Cops, comes out on August 13th, so let's see if we can have him on the show. Each morning is an opportunity to be the person you were born to be. Each morning is an opportunity to take this chance, take this risk, blossom into a new evolution of human consciousness, create the greatest possibility of your life. Quoted by Guru Singh, is a celebrated third-generation yogi, master spiritual teacher, musician, and author who I have here on the show today talking about his latest book, Buried Treasures, The Journey from Where You Are to Who You Are. I'm excited to have you on the show, Guru Singh.
And we're excited to be here.
Well, it's it's wonderful because I just got back from vacation and I got your book in the mail, and I'm actually going to be gone again this weekend, and I'm bringing this book. I started to read it, and I was like, it's one of those books that you don't want to put down. It really, I know the general broad stroke of who you are, but what a wonderful, already insightful book. So tell us, what made you want to write this book?
Well, this book was actually written over about 25 years. I'd tell people little bits and pieces when they would ask what my background was, and as I would tell them little bits and pieces, it started to formulate. And we actually had the manuscript completed in late August, early September of 2001. And then 9/11 happened, and as 9/11 created an entirely different marketplace, there was no market for a book that was, for peace and against war, and so it sat on a shelf for another 10, 12 years, and we finally decided to put it together and put it out. It's not only a story of my life over a 3-year period, but it's also a story of everyone's life, and that's what the feedback that we get from most readers is that they found themselves in the book, which is really wonderful to be able to have a personal experience while you're reading somebody else's story.
Well, very much so, and given the fact that life, the adventure, is today's theme, when I think of you, I think of your life as an adventure. You're a person that you may, I think for a lot of us, you may think it's you're one layer, but you're all these different layers and all these different sides to human beings. One of the things you say in your book, it says, we are living in the moments that will determine the fate of human species. We must come to our common senses right now in large enough numbers in order to prevent the devastating extinctions that are currently taking place, including our own. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is not so much what I mean, but what science is very clear on, and that is that with the way that the general population of this planet is conducting itself, we probably only have about a century left before we've done ourselves in. The planet is way too rehabilitating for itself to be done in. We're not going to destroy the planet, but the extinction of the human being is definitely on the horizon. If you look around the world and you see what is challenging, the only creature on Earth that's causing this challenge is the human being. We do not have, overpopulation. We do not have pollution. We do not have any of the things that the human beings are doing to this planet caused by any other creature. And it's just a basic fact of nature that whenever anything turns an imbalance in its eco field, that it will ultimately be eliminated because nature is there to protect itself and provide for itself. And if human beings aren't working with nature, then they will be eliminated. So we have, the next decades, 60, 70 years, to turn this around, and that means that we really need to spend the next 15 or 20 years learning some new lifestyles. And there's tremendous hope out there. There's tremendous ecological science, permaculture, etc., that is able to save us. And if we get our act together and inspired to do it, we can turn this around. But otherwise, we're living in that moment that I spoke about in the book.
So what are some of the buried treasures you'd like us to get from this book?
Well, there's buried treasures inside of each one of us, and our lives can unveil them every day. Every moment that we experience in life is an opportunity for us to dig a little deeper and find a little greater purpose for our existence. And so I would think that in the science of Kundalini, the key is connecting to your breathing. And if people in each moment of each day could just connect a little more deeply with their breath, and then if they would follow that breath in and just get in touch with their heart, the moments would become more meaningful and the life would become more purposeful.
Well, I think that's a really important one, especially I was talking earlier in the show about having so much, especially living in the cities, you have so much being bombarded and you are living in your head so much of the time. So taking that time in those moments to listen and to breathe, I think is a beautiful step. So I want to talk a little bit more about your beginnings back in the 1960s in the music of some of your buried treasures. And there's a chapter in here called Hate is Love, and we're not talking about H-A-T-E. So we're going to take a brief break, and my guest is Guru Singh. His latest book is Buried Treasures, The Journey from Where You Are to Who You Are. We'll be back in just a moment.
Shh! Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
Use Royal Essence Organic Bulgarian Rosewater and stress will melt away. Emotions become balanced. Skin will be healed, moisturized, and tightened. Produced in the Valley of Roses in Bulgaria, Royal Essence Organic Bulgarian Rosewater comes from the highest quality rose oil in the world. For thousands of years, rosewater has been prized for its cosmetic and medicinal purposes, and now you can get the best. Visit RoyalEssence.com or call 949-357-9389. That's 949-357-9389.
If you're in the UK, you can have a healthier pet for less by going to Pet Supermarket. Whether you have a dog, cat, bird, fish, reptile, or other small pet, you can get everything you need for your pet for less. They have the brands you know and trust. You can even buy gift certificates and doggy clothing and apparel. Get your pet everything they need from nose to tail. Visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Pet Supermarket now.
You're listening to CHSR, Real Radio on the web.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the LifeBites radio show. I'm Nina Bosky. Today's theme, Life, the Adventure. And his life is an adventure. Guru Singh in his latest book, Buried Treasures, the journey from where you are to who you are. Wendy posted on Facebook here. Wendy says from San Francisco, I live life as an adventure because it teaches me the most about where I've been and where I'm going. Most of my adventures require me to expand in some way, physically, mentally, emotionally, and growth excites me. And Nikki says that, what does she say? She's from San Diego, and she says, your calling is not just for you. It's an opportunity for you to give of yourself and to live a more generous life. So go live. Give generously to the adventures of our world. And Guru Singh, in our last segment, I was talking to you about a little bit more about your book and the beginnings of this book and in your life, at least in the 1960s. But one of the things you say in your book is you say that people are not where or who they are. Why do you think that's so, and how can this book help them?
We come into this lifetime, and we end up in some geographical location under the circumstances of the culture in that area. But we all come from infinity. As a matter of fact, science is abuzz about the Higgs boson and the CERN collider in Switzerland, the accelerator, particle accelerator. And what they've learned in the quantum physics study is that there's a part of every atom that is actually infinite, even though the atom itself is a very small, finite particle. But there's a part of it that's infinite, and this is, of course, quite counterintuitive to most people's brain. And that is a fact that we yogis have known for centuries, for thousands of years. And the fact is that we all are infinite in each moment. We come from infinity. And even though we're born into a geographical location and a culture, what we have going for us is either to relate to that geographical location, or relate to the culture, or relate to both of those things, because obviously you have a life to live, and also relate to your infinite nature. And that's really what I'm saying there, is that as long as you can maintain a portion of your awareness to collect all of the data from your infinity, then you're more capable of not only surviving but thriving in your geographical location and in your culture. And you're more capable of producing a successful outcome in anything that you choose, anything that you desire.
So, interesting enough, this book, you said takes you through a 3-year, kind of years of your life. One of them is at 20 years old in 1965, your heart stopped in a Seattle hospital. How did that change you? What was that part of your life and your journey, and what came next?
Well, anyone, and there's tens of thousands of people who have had what are called near-death experiences, and I guess they call them near-deaths because you don't stay dead. But in fact, in the moment that you are in that state, you are definitely dead. without a heartbeat, without a breath. And sometimes people go through a tunnel and experience a light, and I had a unique experience, which was definitely a prophecy of things to come. And the way it changed my life was that when you face death, and this happens to people even without having an NDE, a near-death experience, in which you face something extremely challenging, extremely traumatic, and or extremely awakening, and you suddenly realize, oh, my to-do list needs to be rearranged. The things that are important are less important, and the things that were somehow buried are the things that I really need to make important. And that is one of the reflections of the title, Buried Treasures, is that bring out the treasures that you've buried for whatever reason and make the things that are really vital to your existence important in your life. And so the way it changed me was that I was in school, I was in college, doing something that I really liked. It wasn't something that I was completely passionate about. My passion was music. But I was in architecture at the University of Washington. But I was in school to stay out of the Vietnam War, because as long as you were a college student, you wouldn't be drafted. And so after my near-death experience, I had lost so much time in school that I actually couldn't continue in that particular semester. And the moment that happened, they called me up for a draft physical. And you'll read in the book, how I was able to get out of the draft physical and declare my independence, and not to be. And this is one of the reasons why after 9/11 this wasn't going to be a popular read, and the publishers wouldn't want to touch it. Is that we don't have to be conscripted into the armies of the world and fight for ridiculous reasons. I mean, the wars that have been going on for so long are so absurd. Even in this day, we have wars happening all over the planet. And so it gave me the opportunity to really profess my passion, which was music and creating peace on earth. And took me out of hiding from the government and the army and all of that. I had been a yogi for my whole life because my ancestry had found Paramahansa Yogananda in Calcutta in 1916, and so I was very much attuned to what I was going to experience in that near-death experience. But it's one thing to have an understanding or a belief, and then it's quite another thing to have a full-on experience.
Yeah, and I think that's, part of life and part of this book, too, is that you are sharing with us your experience, but in that we're being able to relate to it. I really do wish we had more time, because I think that what I'm also, people didn't even get to the musician part back in the 1960s. This is like a really fun look at how does... And a profound look at how, here you are a yogi, then you love and still love music, and music connects us in so many ways, and experiencing that time to where we are today, Guru Singh, that's a whole another radio show. We're going to have you back. What I'd like to do, though, is give out your website. It's gurusingh.com. That's gurusingh.com, RUSINGH.com, and you can find the book on Amazon. That's Buried Treasures, The Journey from Where You Are to Who You Are. And we have about 20 seconds left. I know we don't have a lot of time, but what would you like to say to somebody if they're feeling stuck right now and not living their life as an adventure?
Well, of course, I would like to say read my book, because it will give you an insight into somebody else who is just as stuck as you are, and that there are ways of breaking free. And they're sometimes subtle and sometimes not, and they're inside of you. They're buried treasures inside of you.
Guru Singh, thank you so much. I'm feeling very honored to have you on the show today.
Love you dearly, and thank you so much for having us.
Love you too. Lots of love, and we will be back with our closing moments on LifeBites Radio.
love food, and I love to eat. The cooking and cleaning part, not so much. And then I found a link to the chef's catalog on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page, and I was happy to find all sorts of amazing recipes and tips on cooking, in addition to great chef-quality kitchen equipment and savings as well. Now I look forward to my time in the kitchen thanks to chef's catalog on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page.
NASCAR champion Bobby Labonte here with my brother Terry and my nephew Justin. You know, every sport has its essential safety gear.
For racing, we wear helmets, fire retardant suits, and Nomex gloves.
For fishing, waterfowl hunting, and boating, we wear life jackets.
After an intense race, there's nothing more relaxing than bass fishing.
Or a little duck hunting on the lake.
But we're the first ones to tell you, on the track or on the water, accidents happen fast.
In a crash, there's no time to put on a helmet. And when a boater capsizes or is thrown from the boat, there's rarely time to reach a stowed life jacket.
But today's life jackets are lightweight and comfortable. Fishing or hunting, they don't get in your way.
That's why you won't catch a Labonte on the water without a life jacket.
Don't let us catch you either. Remember, you're in command. Boat safely.
This message brought to you by the United States Coast Guard. For more information on boating safety, visit www.uscgboating.org.
For more than 20 years, Homeboy Industries has made a difference in the lives of former gang members and at-risk youth in Los Angeles. Their free programs and services have given hope and opportunity to thousands in their signature businesses: Homeboy Bakery, Homegirl Cafe and Catering, Homeboy Silkscreen and Embroidery, and Homeboy Merchandise. Offers hands-on training in a safe work environment. Donate to Homeboy today and help them continue their important work. To find out more, call 323-526-1254 or visit online at www.homeboy-industries.org.
Music, information, and friends. HealthyLife.net.
What a wonderful show today. Life, the adventure. Hey, if you don't have some ideas from this show, I don't know what to say except for stop waiting for life. I'd like to thank my guest, Gesine Thomson, renowned architect. Go to TED Talk or YouTube and find her TED Talk about motherhood and life. Also, Guru Singh, his latest book, Buried Treasures, The Journey from Where You Are to Who You Are. I'll leave you with this quote. It comes from my honey. He said that to me this morning. It says, it's a great one from Wayne Gretzky. It says, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. I live life as an adventure because you never know until you go, do, see, and ultimately be. So shouldn't life be about our biggest adventure, as said so well in the movie, in the Shankshaw Redemption? Get busy living, or you get busy dying. And remember to look for those buried treasures. Until next time, I'm Nina Bosky for LifeBites. And remember to take a bite out of life before life takes a bite out of you.